I just click on an application, it should have a reasonable expectation that it will work. Right? And if it won't work, there should be some.
So the situation that I'm thinking more about is that there's a reason, is the kind of situation where SE Linux is, where there's a, where they have, sort of the enforcing and permissive modes. And at the start of things, in enforcing mode, there was a very poor probability that this
Right.
But they've worked on it long enough and hard enough that it's gotten a lot better since then.
Yeah.
So
And whatever approach you take here is going to have to be similarly evolutionary.
Yeah. I believe that I don't foresee any problems in the security aspects of what we're doing right now. Because the way that BitFrost is kind of designed to be to not make decisions ahead of time and be reactive to the usage of the application originally. So the idea was if we wanted to prevent you from using network and having access to all of the journal, we're going to start with both of them turned on, but as soon as you access network, we're going to turn off your ability to access the rest of the journal. Or as soon as you access the entire journal, we'll turn off your ability to use network. And so that eliminates some of the necessity of specifying ahead of time what type of is this a network application or is this a journal application.
So the difficulty with that is that in order to implement that sanely, specifically for network control, you need to do a lot of poking with the system. You need either something like access to the kernel to install some new functionality that user land, or you need to be able to do really detailed firewall configuration. Or you need access to some mandatory access control framework against Linux.
I think what we'll end up with is a system that
these things are hairy. What we should really think. The question that I want to leave you considering is, what security properties does Sugar Labs want to try to provide on distributions that are not old seeds?
And I'd sort of like to say that we have a control panel somewhere that shows rainbow status with checkboxes for each protection which Rainbow can provide and whether or not you're actually running with those enabled. And so if I install it on Fedora, maybe the Fedora guys have taken some effort and they've made the network file
working. They've got 3 of
working.
those ready to
Right.
go.
And if I install that on Debian, it tells me that basically none of the protections are on. But
There is the question of if on other distributions like Fedora, Sugar should run under the normal security system of this other distribution, or it should provide its own.
so Michael's worked on packaging Rainbow in a way that makes it possible to install it in Fedora. So basically, so one key thing is the UIDs are created on the fly. It's not editing Etsy password. It's just a plugin module so that I can actually start Firefox, say, as a separate UID on my Fedora system without rewriting the Etsy password file or doing anything terribly intrusive. So I can just yum install Rainbow, and after that I can launch my activities as a separate UID.
But you have to be the system, right?
No. Michael's proposal there is not require modification of the system.
You need to edit the NSS code.
But you got to install the package period.
You said you're actually holding your hand up the proxy.
Right.
So there seem to be a number of non-sugarized Linux applications in the real world that people want to deploy, and successfully deploying those means more laptop shift, means more money, means more resources, means more goodness. Hooray! Do we have any mechanism right now, and if not, should we maybe develop one, to get those things in to some kind of critical path and evaluate this work against its effectiveness in getting those applications running?
It's really good to have an idea of which application.
So having a good idea is nice, but having an actual list of those applications that sort of drives acceptance testing from
like
customers.
Greg mentioned one which I had
That's good. OLPC clearly has the beginnings of the process for this, insofar as it employs Greg as a product manager to talk to customers and find out what they need in order to use the product. And also insofar as it has a formal tech support group run by Kim, which performs the same work for established deployments.
Right.
A fine question to ask is what Sugar Lab's relationship with those resources can be like, and whether it needs to do something that work itself.
And it might be worth coming up with a wiki page or some other database of compatibility so that our users can fill in their own details. I tried to do X and it didn't work.
It's the wine problem in a lot of ways.
That's exactly what I was thinking of with their compatibility.
I
Because they
don't
also,
think it's relevant just to LPC. We also have other people that are interested in deploying sugar, which
It's definitely broadly relevant.
Yeah, I mean, there is a requirement on each roadmap page. It's brief, it does not include list applications, which it should, it has to, it's brief.
Yeah.
But so I call it easy sugarization, and so to run out of the box.
We should
but I
probably
want to make it easy to convert it.
So
Yeah,
that's
I
the
don't
generic
I
case,
don't know if we have
which is necessary. That's the generic case, which is clearly necessary, but we also need to be making sure that we're
You need to be responsive to specific
evaluating
No,
specific
I completely
instances
agree.
as well.
I completely agree. I don't know if anyone's taking action. You can put me down to come up with a list of 6 activity applications that we want to run sugar on, and I'll do it. I don't know who's going to write the spec, or who's going to come up with a response, but I think there's a requirement.
I mean, part of this stuff needs to be done for any application to work. Right? But there is a lot of
But
things that we need to evaluate.
as the wine experiment showed, it's very helpful to prioritize.
Yeah, we need
If what people want is Photoshop, Office, and StarCraft.
That's good. So
But
if I
they
come up
want
with 6,
something simple, like why would I ever spend one day computerizing something like that's something like just work, sugar. There is no need like I'm agreeing with you guys. I think that it should be high priority.
So the reason,
to get
Bernie, the reason why is because just work and work really well. So work of some and work really well are different but important together.
yeah, so,
does work really well without any work on the side of the developer. Like I port Excel and the icon is round and it's ugly and keeps flashing forever. These
Right.
3-4 things
Well,
should be.
but then
Sure.
you need at least a minimum of integration with the journal to work well. Unless it's an application which doesn't.
The application is
Probably
really
not.
ugly. I don't use the Joule.
Yeah, okay, but that's a limited set of application, right, which doesn't save files. So most applications need some kind of restriction.
So we need a definition of works well.
And we already have a definition of works well. Walter wrote it really good.
well, I mean, my suggestion was that people post problem reports and they say, I tried to use X and it failed, and
Yeah.
we'll take a look at that. And I think that's the definition of work well, is all the ways that people have done it. It might be minor to us that, I don't know, I have a window which is larger than the screen size, and so I can't click OK on my dialog to make it go away, but it's probably not minor to somebody.
It's just about 11. How are we on? Who's now?
So
What's next?
I believe that it is now exactly 10:55.
We have 5 minutes.
So this is where we take the
Take a
5-minute
break.
break, and then we come back with something.
Edward Shirley?
Yep.
Yeah, it's you next.